You know, I've gotten a lot of comments over the last few months of people accusing me of just trying to ride my uncle's coattail and take his success for my own, and that's not what I'm doing. But I wanted to show you guys an example of somebody who does that. And it's actually really embarrassing. I used to be friends with this guy after he stalked me to America's Got Talent. I gave him a chance. We shared stories, and he was just using me for information to better his impersonation. This is Johnny D. Miller, and quite frankly, he's a little more perverted than anybody I ever met. He used to live in Orlando, Florida, and his big claim to fame was the Sunburst Convention, where they went to celebrity lookalike conventions, and he always dressed like this. KFC hired him to be a brand ambassador, which according to somebody called Maggie, who operates events for KFC in Corbin, Kentucky, she said the last time that he came to the Colonel Fest, KFC sent her an email, said he's not affiliated with the brand anymore. This man moved from Orlando to Kentucky to get closer to the museum, the diner house, everything Colonel Sanders. He wants to run the museum. He thinks it is his sole purpose to be my uncle. There are other people like him, but this is just the biggest, annoyance I have. And for crying out loud, he has a cardboard cutout of himself, and this stands in his house. This is when I went to America's Got Talent, and he just showed up there dressed like this. I was dressed like that, but I didn't even tell anybody who I was. And he originally had found me on YouTube. I made a comment on one of KFC's posts about their ads, and he said, "Hi, Anthony, I am Colonel Sanders impersonator, and I work for KFC." We started talking after that. Next thing I know, he saw my post about me going to America's Got Talent, and there he is. And this was at the Suncoast Convention Center. And I told him, they won't let you in unless you have a wristband like my grandfather. And he said, they'll simply let me in because of the celebrity that I am. They didn't let him in. They wouldn't let him pass the line. More examples of him living off the name. He actually makes money. He's like a hired person to go to parties and events, dressed like the Colonel, and he gets paid for it. He told me once he was the master of ceremonies at the Colonel Fest, and I talked to Maggie, who runs the Colonel Fest. She said, good grief, there is no such thing as master of ceremonies here. And he dresses like this in everyday life. And he owns a lot of things that belong to Uncle Harley because he mooched off of as many people as he could to get deals that he could buy things off of them, including Dick Miller. By the way, Dick Miller's not related to Johnny. Johnny is a Kentucky colonel, but he doesn't deserve it, and he also admits that he doesn't deserve it. He knew somebody who was friends with the governor, and that guy said, hey, do you want to be a Kentucky colonel? And he called the governor on the spot and had him commissioned. That is his words. This is him at the Colonel Fest. I'm friends with this guy's mother. This is Colonel L.A. Thayer, someone else who used me for information, but I like him better than I do Johnny D. Miller. At least he has a heart to help people. Johnny fights anybody that dresses like the Colonel because he feels like it's his sole territory. But yeah, if people like this can impersonate Uncle Harley, I should be at least allowed to carry on a legacy that's part of this family, not his family.